Today we have with us Ashish Agarwal, the founder and CEO of PropertyPistol, a full stack PropTech platform serving home buyers, real estate agents, and developers. Ashish is from IIT Kanpur and was in the founding team of All Check Deals and then PropTiger. In 2013, he started PropertyPistol. Currently, the company is completely bootstrapped with over 1,000 employees and has done transactions worth rupees 11,500 crores. It has presence in Mumbai, Pune, Delhi NCR, Lucknow, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, Kochi, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Qatar. So, hi Ashish, welcome, and it's been a pleasure to have you.
Hi Deepika, thanks a lot for inviting. It's a pleasure to be here on your show.
Yeah. So, Ashish, obviously, after IIT, why real estate? What made you venture into this space?
So after IIT, I was with IBM for around 3 years.
Mhm.
And when I was in IBM, I felt like a very small part of a very big company.
Okay.
And I always thought I want to be a big part of a small company.
Okay.
So I joined a startup which happened to
Mm-hmm.
be in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
Allcheck, which was funded by Naukri.com and
Yeah.
it was started by a batchmate from IIT Kanpur.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an entrepreneurship journey for me, from where I learned how to start a business from scratch, how to manage operations of a business. And basically, it's a startup experience. After that, I had an opportunity to gain a startup experience again in a big company, which is called PropTiger.
Mm-hmm.
So, PropTiger, we started in Feb 2011, and
Mm-hmm.
I set up the entire 60% of the operations of PropTiger in South and West India.
Okay.
Entire
Oh,
operations were
oh,
running.
wow. Yeah.
And there I was working. I worked for almost 1.5 years. When things were set, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that now is the time for me to start on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Property Pistol started. So March
Okay.
2013, we started our operations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been 9.5 years now. Fantastic journey. God has been kind. We have grown
Yeah.
leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Last 4 years,
Definitely.
we have grown 14 times despite
Mm-hmm.
COVID.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think going is good. God is kind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. God is actually very kind, and in fact, to put forward in like this space is very crowded. I mean, in the sense that there are no barriers to entry into this space. So, how do you differentiate yourself from other brokers?
So one is, our vision is clearly set. Today, the
Mm-hmm.
buyer, in spite of so many players in the real estate industry,
Mm-hmm.
the buyer is still unserved. Right? Today, if you talk
Right.
to any buyer who is transacting in real estate, 90% of the buyers will be saying, I faced a lot of hurdles. The property search, property documentation, the price negotiations,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere you will find complaints coming from buyer's side, right?
Right. Right.
Buyers today is still underserved in spite of so many players in the industry.
Right.
What I particularly feel is that people are doing tits and pieces of real estate transactions space,
Mm-hmm.
but holistically no one has approached this industry in terms
Mm-hmm.
of transaction services. Okay.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, you have three parts to a property purchase transaction.
Mm-hmm.
The first part, and which is the most time consuming part, is shortlisting your desired property,
Right.
right?
Definitely.
That takes maximum amount of time,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
That takes maximum amount of time. And the reason for that is because there is no single repository of the entire market information.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
say we are based in Mumbai. If I'm looking for a property in Goregaon,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there is no one single place where I can go and I can see Goregaon how many 2 BHKs are available as on this point for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason I take so much of time in shortlisting a property. I have to speak
Right.
to many builders, I have to speak to many brokers, I have to go
Mm-hmm.
through online platforms like 99 Magic Bricks, right? Then I have to go down on the street and speak to the security guards, look out at properties myself. So
Mm-hmm.
the shortlisting of the property is a tedious task.
Right. Right. Right.
That's the number one problem.
Right.
Second problem is, when you shortlist a property, You
Mm-hmm.
don't know whether you are paying the right price or not, whether the person who is selling the property is quoting the right price, whether
Mm-hmm.
the price is inflated. There is
Right,
no objective discovery mechanism for the pricing,
right, right. Definitely.
right? So it is all based upon negotiation. It is all based upon, who has the critical need. If the buyer
Mm-hmm.
has the critical need, he will end up paying more. If the seller has
Mm-hmm.
the critical need, he will end up selling at a lesser price.
Right,
But
right,
objective, there is no way of determining what is the right price of a property.
right,
Correct.
right.
And third problem is the documentation. It
Mm-hmm.
starts from home loan process to registration to
Mm-hmm.
society name transfer, electricity meter transfer, NRI
Mm-hmm.
buying a property in India. There is
Mm-hmm.
huge amount of confusion. There is no standardization of the entire process, and
Mm-hmm.
it ends up frustrating a buyer.
Right.
So, what Property Pistol is trying to do in this space is approaching this entire transaction cycle, services cycle, the buying cycle in a holistic manner,
Okay.
right? So, starting from property search, we
Mm-hmm.
intend to be the largest repository of real estate information in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We
Okay.
want to integrate entire developers. We want
Mm-hmm.
to integrate entire brokers so
Mm-hmm.
that we have the entire market supply at our platform, real
Mm-hmm.
time updated, so that a buyer need not go anywhere else. He can come to propertypistol.com, check
Mm-hmm.
out the options,
Mm-hmm.
shortlist a property in 4 hours time.
Okay.
2 to 3 hours we spend on our
Mm-hmm.
platform, speak to our agents, and
Mm-hmm.
shortlist a property. And then in a single day, he can come check out the property and close the transaction. So we want to
Mm-hmm.
create it as a holistic platform where buyer need not go out, you know, every weekend after weekend from
Mm-hmm.
pillar to post. We want to create a one-stop shop for real estate transactions,
Okay.
and everything and anything related to house, our
Mm-hmm.
platform should be able to offer, whether it is rent transactions, whether it is registrations,
Okay.
online registrations, whether it is electricity bill payment, whether it is property tax payment, anything and everything, house servicing,
Mm-hmm.
interiors,
Mm-hmm.
everything and anything related to house.
Mm-hmm.
Propertypistol.com is one place for buyers to come to. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
vision of the company, and we feel that in spite of so many players in the industry, there is huge
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for our company to thrive and grow, just because the end consumer is still underserved.
Right, right. So definitely, Ashish. I mean,
Using a lot of technology around it, using a lot of
okay,
technology around it. I am from IIT Kanpur. My co-founder
yeah,
is from IIT Mumbai. So we
okay,
have developed a lot of almost 30 products in-house to
okay,
streamline this entire process. Today we are
oh,
transacting close to 500 to 600 units every month,
okay,
right?
okay,
So we
oh,
intend to become one-stop solution for real estate in the country.
okay. That is actually phenomenal. So that is something quite interesting and quite new, in fact. So, I mean, looking at the past 9 years, your company has done phenomenally well. So, but as compared to your competitors, you haven't raised any investment as of now. So, is there a reason behind it, or is just a conscious move?
So it's a very conscious move, and
Mm-hmm.
I think our vision was very clear that we
Mm-hmm.
want to integrate entire developer and entire agents on the platform.
Okay.
But it's easier said than done. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
developer integration was simple for us because we created a sales engine, so all the
Mm-hmm.
developers wanted to come to Property Pistol's platform, and that we have achieved in last 9 years. We
Mm-hmm.
started aggregation of agents in 2017, and then we realized this is not an easy piece to crack. One is you engage the agents, you create value proposition for the agents, but we have to create a value proposition for the company also, right? So it
Right.
took us some time to pivot the model to understand how do we go about aggregating the brokers. But now, since the model is clear, we have
Mm-hmm.
shown it is working, we are able to generate 10% of our sales through the broker aggregation platform.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are pretty sure that this is going to, this is the path we have to take.
Mm-hmm.
We have 1,000 employees already. We don't want to increase our direct employees. We want to go the route of indirect
Okay.
agents for
Mm-hmm.
ramping up our sales. ramping
Okay.
up our business. And
Okay.
that's the reason now we are confident that, we will be able to create immense value in this space.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't raise any funds because, one, we were not in a hurry. We did not need any funds to grow. We were growing organically, and at the same time we were experimenting with the agent aggregation part. Now
Mm-hmm.
the model is set, the path is clear. Now
Mm-hmm.
the company is ready for a takeoff. Now we
Mm-hmm.
are in discussions for fundraise, and I
Okay.
think we will be closing our first funding very soon.
Oh, like we would be looking forward to the PR in the news then. So,
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Fingers crossed. We are
yes,
very hopeful that we will be able to raise our first round soon.
yes, definitely, definitely. So, Ashish, and, when we talk about real estate as, in terms of the entire industry, the dynamics of real estate is continuously changing. Earlier, it was not very organized. Now, gradually and slowly, it's becoming more transparent, organized, and structured. So, what
Right.
is your take on that? As like the entire industry keeping into perspective,
So one is, it's a very important industry. Okay, the
right?
importance of real estate industry can never be overemphasized. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the basic needs of mankind, right? Roti, kapda, makan. This is a
Makan,
basic need. Nobody
absolutely.
can live without a house. People can live without mobile phone. People can live without cars, without traveling, without going, whatever. But people
Mm-hmm.
cannot live without a house. Roti, kapda, makan. These are basic things in life.
Right,
So
right.
this is an important sector from that point of view.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the demographics of India, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Indian population, the ownership of house is abysmally low. People move to urban centers in the country, and everybody wants a house to live, either on
Mm-hmm.
rent or they want to purchase. Every
Right.
year, 3 lakh housing units are released in the market, launched in the market. An
Mm-hmm.
equal number of housing units get sold in secondary market.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine the size of an industry as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
the and its emotional value, its social value,
Mm-hmm.
and its transaction size. Average transaction size of our company is 90 lakh rupees per transaction,
Okay.
right? So 90 lakh rupees, it's
Yes.
probably one of the largest transactions any person does in his or her lifetime.
Lifetime. Yeah.
So it's a very important transaction. People invest their lifelong savings in buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this industry needs to have a better treatment, right? In terms of buyer experience, in terms of handholding the buyer, in terms of,
Mm-hmm.
trust, transparency, professionalism. So I strongly feel that this industry as a whole is underserved.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no two ways of expressing the importance of professionalizing this industry because of
Mm-hmm.
the factors which I just said.
Yes,
Now
definitely.
we are very thankful to the government of the of India for implementing Real Estate Regulation Act in 2017. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now Real Estate Regulation Act is a watershed development. It's a landmark development which has changed the way business happens in real estate in the country.
Mm-hmm.
It was a uh, uh, you know, long-awaited step. It was
Mm-hmm.
a it was a very very necessary step. All the developed countries, the real estate market is regulated. We
Mm-hmm.
had regulators of telecom, we had regulators of banking, we have regulators of insurance, but we never had
Mm-hmm.
a regulator for real estate industry.
Yes.
So buyers were taken for a ride, whether it
Mm-hmm.
was a builder, whether it was a broker, everybody was having its own way of handling the business.
Mm-hmm.
People used to launch the projects, buyers used to buy, and then the same project got stalled because they were never approved. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of issues were there in the way business was done.
Mm-hmm.
So Real Estate Regulation Act has helped professionalize and basically improve the scenario of real estate industry as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Right,
Okay.
right.
So I feel, these are very welcome steps. These are very necessary steps, and real
Mm-hmm.
estate needs a lot of professionalism. And I'm very happy that a lot of professionals, like, professional companies like Property Pistol are entering the space and
Mm-hmm.
creating a mark for themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way forward. And you
Mm-hmm.
will find the consolidation happening in developer side. You will find consolidation happening in the transactions space. So we are very bullish on the sector as a whole, and we are very fortunate to be there at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And the opportunity is immense. So there's so much
Mm-hmm.
of cleaning which has to be done. And I think we Property Pistol is one of the torch bearers in the space, and
Mm-hmm.
we intend to continue our journey more
Mm-hmm.
energetically and more aggressively. And we are
Mm-hmm.
very hopeful of seeing the light of the day at the
Mm-hmm.
with our
Right.
vision and
Right.
benchmark and our roadmap clearly set.
Right, definitely, definitely. I mean, speaking about that, suddenly in the past couple of years, this term called PropTech has emerged, Prop Plus technology. So earlier, like
Right.
obviously in 2011 and 12, companies were getting funded, but we saw a lag in between. Like there was not much funding or much innovation wasn't happening into this industry. But after COVID, a lot many companies, a lot many startups have come up, and this word PropTech has like suddenly taken over the market. So, what is your stance over it?
See, technology is everywhere, right?
Yes,
We are
definitely.
basically living in an age of technology.
Hmm.
And real estate as an industry, the technology penetration is limited to automation of the sales process, automation of the construction process using ERPs, CRMs. So, but nothing much on the side of the consumer, right?
Yes.
So I feel there is a huge scope of using technology to ease the transaction cycle of real estate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. I also feel like
So,
in today's age, without technology, a company just can't function. I mean, you have to
right,
adopt technology at each and every step for it to go
right.
going forward. So,
Yes,
I
and
mean,
you also mentioned that funding used to happen previously, that there was a lag in between. So I'll tell you
yes,
my take on that.
yeah,
So property transactions space, it was very deprived of technology. Okay.
yes,
As soon as people got a hint of technology being used,
mm,
the capital jumped onto it. The companies
right,
providing capital jumped onto it without actually seeing the light of the day with respect to profitability in the business,
yes,
right?
definitely, yeah,
And
yeah,
long term sustainability of that approach
mm,
of
mm,
you know using the tech at the front end. Okay.
mm-hmm,
So initially it was tech at the front end. Now
mm,
we feel without a strong back end where you have the fulfilling capacity of
mm-hmm,
buyer interest. If we do
mm-hmm,
not have the fulfilling capacity, it will not make any business sense. Your business
right,
will never be profitable if you are
right,
not able to have the fulfilling capacity. Okay.
right,
Now we are coming ground up. We are using tech first on the back end to be
mm-hmm,
able to create a fulfilling capacity for the
mm-hmm,
demand or the interest which we are going to generate. See,
mm-hmm,
getting buyer to come on your website is not difficult. If
mm-hmm,
you create a marketplace, if you create a mall, it's just like you set up a very flashy mall with
mm,
all the anchor stores inside.
mm-hmm,
You have big
mm-hmm,
bazaars of the world, you have shopper stops of the world, you have big brands in a mall. You
right,
open it, that second day you will see a lot of crowd coming in.
right,
So
right.
getting buyer onto a marketplace is not difficult. Only thing
Mhm.
is that marketplace has to add value to the buyer search. So we are
Right.
coming ground. We are first creating a very strong backend supported marketplace, and
Mhm.
that's when we want to go B2C, where we want to get all the buyers coming on the platform.
Mhm.
So what
Okay.
happened initially was people created front end. The
Mhm.
B2C was created using good tech front end,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
then backend fulfilling capacities were not there. So they were not
Mhm.
able to sustain and
That's it.
justify the business operations.
Right.
So now I feel the industry has matured. Now I feel whatever capital is going to be infused in the current businesses which are making business sense will create a lot of immense value for the businesses as well as for the capital growth.
Mm. No, definitely. I mean, without profitability, without revenue, there's no sense of a company. So going forward, obviously, the main thing is how profitable or how revenue generating a company should be. So going
Right.
again, another thing which is very important in real estate is data. Like it's quite scattered. We don't have the correct numbers in front of us. So how are you using data analytics into your company in order to help the consumers?
So, as I said, data, you have a very valid question you have asked,
Mm-hmm.
Deepika, and I think data holds a very important place in the overall scheme of things from many point of views. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first point of view is basically the shortlisting of the property. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you don't have the entire market supply data, you cannot
Mm.
expect a buyer to engage with you meaningfully in
Right.
terms of shortlisting the option. So what we
Mm-hmm.
are saying is first is getting the market supply data. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, we are integrating the supply holders on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Supply holders in primary space is a developer.
Mm-hmm.
Primary space means new project launches, right? So that's the
Mm-hmm.
developer. So we are
Mm-hmm.
integrating developers. We are
Mm-hmm.
integrating agents from the point of view of secondary market supply. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
very valuable data which we are
Mm-hmm.
targeting on the website, which will ease the property shortlisting.
Mm-hmm.
For price discovery, what we are doing is we are creating a functionality on our website wherein a
Okay.
buyer, after shortlisting a particular property, will be
Mm-hmm.
able to see in the vicinity how many transactions have happened in the
Mm-hmm.
vicinity in past 6 months, in past one
Okay.
year, and what has been the price of
Price.
transaction
All right.
price on which the transactions have happened.
Right.
So this is
Right.
a very
Right.
objective way of determining the
Mm.
price, right? So
Right.
you can
Right.
say, boss, आपके ही apartment में मैं
Mm.
एक 2 BHK, अगर if I am looking for a 2 BHK, and
Mm-hmm.
then if I tell the seller, boss, in your
Mm-hmm.
apartment complex, you are
Mm-hmm.
asking me 1 crore, but I can see last 6 months the transaction have been like 80 lakhs, 75 lakhs, 85 lakhs. So I feel 80 lakhs is a justified price.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Right.
where you define an objective option, objective
Mm-hmm.
price discovery,
Right. Right.
right? So I feel data holds a very important place, and
Mm.
we are creating good data for speedy transactions. For we are very confident that the usage of data at our end is going to be
Mm.
very effective. And
Mm-hmm.
as you rightly said, it holds a very important place in the entire scheme of things.
So, Ashish, like one final question for our viewers out there, people who are quite interested to enter into this industry or become a broker. Since you started on your own, your journey has been fascinating. What is that one piece of advice you would want to give?
Keep your intents clean.
Bang
Keep
on.
your intent clean. And I think
Yeah,
if your intent is right,
yeah.
uh, you will have all the support from all the spheres.
Hmm.
And I think it's very easy to make mistakes when you grow.
Yes, yeah.
And but if you have your intent right, you will not
Mm.
take wrong decisions.
Right,
And that's my one piece of advice. Be good intent wise.
right. I mean,
And
people,
don't work with any broker or any builder which does not have good intent. So if you have good intent, you will work with people who have good intents.
right, right. Good intent is very important. I mean, it's sometimes it gets difficult to judge also. Like the other
Yeah,
person has a good intent or not, but I guess you eventually get to know.
of course. And good intent is important thing. And
Yes, yes. In order to
we
make
are
big.
very positive people. And
Yes,
I think we have to remain positive, whatever the scenario is at
right,
this point in time. What is it that is the best you can do? So I
right.
always think about, you know, I'm very philosophical sometimes. So I
Mm-hmm,
always think about what is the best I can do at this point in time. I
mm-hmm.
will not worry about what is going to happen, tomorrow, or what's going to happen day after tomorrow, or 1 month down the line, or 1 year down the line. I will
Right,
focus on now and here.
right,
So I
right.
feel, that's how the nature is. We should get a lot of lessons from nature.
Right.
And water will not, when river starts from a glacier, it will
Mm-hmm.
not think what is going to be coming on the way. At that
Right.
point in time, whatever is the best slope, the
Mm.
river goes that way. Eventually it reaches its destination.
Yes,
It will not worry
definitely.
about, whether the mountain will come in the way or forest will come in the way. So
Mm.
I feel, as entrepreneurs, all we need to think about is now and here, and not
Mm.
worry too much about the future.
Yes. On that note, thank you, Ashish, for joining us. It's been a fascinating journey you've had for the past 9 years. We wish you and Property Pistol all the best for the future. Thank you.